How's it going, guys? Cody back again, dropping yet another video. Right, guys. I didn't even know about this story until the other day, and I'm flicking through my Twitter feed, and I come across this story, and I saw it. Jail theft probe sees charges for East Lancs prison officers, and I thought, gotta be Forest Bank. It's just gotta be. But it wasn't in my local paper, and my local paper weren't even aware of it. So I was like, so it was in the Lancashire Telegraph, right? I'll put a link in the description below like I always do. And I was like, what's all this about? Now, it was on Forest Bank, which is my former prison. I've just got a story out about a serious incident yesterday where a prisoner was severely beaten and attacked by other inmates at about 5 to 1 yesterday afternoon on E1 at Forest Bank. Had to be airlifted to hospital, thick blood coming out of his ears, which could be a sign of brain trauma, brain injury. Brain hemorrhage, things like that. So yeah, and I'm fast becoming through my prison contacts who give me stories. I'm fast becoming Mr. Forest Bank. Anyway, link in the description below like you always do. Going to do my bit at the end. Headline reads: Jail theft probe sees charges for East Lancs prison officers. 2 prison officers from East Lancashire are set to appear in court as part of a probe into the theft of £250,000 worth of goods at a northwest jail. Aidan Bligh, 38, and Samantha Bligh, 39, married prison officers, have each been charged by Greater Manchester Police in relation to an inquiry at Forest Bank Prison in Salford. The pair, both from Billington Avenue, Rawtenstall, each charged with theft and an offence under the Proceeds of Crime Act. They'll be joined in the dock by Paul Hewitt, 40, of James Street, Radcliffe, and Paul Albertson, 41, of Eastern Close, Middleton, who have both been charged with the same offences. All 4 are set to appear before Manchester and Salford Magistrates Court on November the 13th. A Greater Manchester Police spokesman confirmed the charges relate to theft of over £250,000 worth of electronic equipment from the Sodexo run prison, with several other arrests to have known to have been made previously connected with the same inquiry. So several officers have been arrested. 4 of them so far have been charged. So let's hope that the other people that are involved get charged. Now, like I say, the reason that people might think, why did you take an interest in Forest Bank? I'm a former inmate at Forest Bank, right? A few months ago, there was a prisoner that I knew whose brothers and sisters were murdered in the most disgusting way by 4 cowards: Abigail Toon, Zach Bolland, David Worrell and Courtney Briley. They petrol bombed the family's home on the December the 11th, 2017. Now, the house belonged to Michelle Pearson, who was a mother of 6. 5 of her children were in the house that night. And her second eldest, Kyle's best friend. These people at 5 to 5 in the morning petrol bombed the house, and 4 children, Demi, Brandon, Lacey and Leah, died there. Little Leah died later in hospital. Mother Michelle was pulled out of the fire with 75-degree burns. God knows how she survived that inferno. She fought fiercely and bravely for 19 months before sadly and tragically losing her life a few weeks ago. She's recently been buried. God bless her. May she rest in peace. Now, I know the son because I got involved with a fundraising for the family back in December of 2017. That fire took place 2 weeks to the day before Christmas. Give you the picture. Christmas tree in the corner. Presents under the tree. Kids excited for Santa coming. Right? 5 people end up laid dead because of the actions of these 4 people. One of them served 40 years. So one of them has been sentenced to 40 years minimum tariff. Zach Bolland, 40 years before he's eligible for parole. David Worrell, 37.5 years. That's as a minimum tariff. Courtney Briley, she wasn't found guilty of murder. She was found guilty of the lesser charge of manslaughter. And she was sentenced to 21 years or 20 years, 6 months. So she'll become eligible for parole halfway through. And Abigail Toon turned police informer, and yeah, she just I think a mum or a stepdad or someone is a police officer with Greater Manchester Police, and she grassed everyone up, and she became a prosecution witness. But the fact is, she's as much part to play in those children's murders and the murder of Michelle Pearson as the other three. But she was given immunity because she became a prosecution witness. Abigail Toon's a vile woman, disgusting. But anyway, going back to this story. So I know Cal Pearson from that. So I know Cal's dad through being in prison with him. I was in Strangeways with him, and I've been in Forest Bank with him, right? Stoff, really good kid. And I've gone to the prison to try and go on a prison protest. Sorry, not on a prison protest. I've been there on a protest, but I went on a visit. And I know about rules about visits and stuff, what you can and can't wear. But I just bought some River Island jeans, right? Really nice jeans. I thought I'll stick my Timberlands on. They was ripped effect. They wasn't ripped. They was ripped effect like distressed, right? And these prison officers know what I do. They know that I speak up for prisoners. They know I speak up for prisoners' families. So I'm queuing up at the jail. She waits for me to get to the front, and then she went, "You're not coming in with them on." I just saw red. I was ready for fighting. There was 4 women there. Security were in their little hut thing looking through the windows, so I told them to fuck off. And cut a long story short, they didn't let me into the jail. I walked away, and within half an hour, I had all 4 prison officers' names. If they wasn't women, I would have laid my hands on them 1,000,000%. Really fucking would have. But yeah, so they didn't let me in the prison. So I came away, and I thought, they've not let me in the prison, not because of my jeans, because a red badge came down and said we could have overseen that. We could have used our discretion. It comes down to what I do. I'm a voice for prisons, guys. They don't like it. I get stories out on different prisons, but particularly Forest Bank. They don't like it. So they turned me away. So I upped my game. And I became obsessed, and I am obsessed. I want to bring the prison down. And I get stories week in, week out about prison officers being attacked by prisoners at Forest Bank, right? Prisoners attacking prison officers, sorry. And I don't take that to the media. Just keep it under wraps. But when it comes to staff arrests and staff corruption and indecent images of children within inside the prison, that's another story I got out through my prison contacts. And the corruption and staff arrests and deaths in custody and medical negligence and mental health and violence and everything that's going wrong within that prison. This is happening in all prison, guys, not just particularly Forest Bank, but they treat me like a dickhead. So now I act like a dickhead, and I've stepped up my game massively, and I'll continue to keep the pressure on the prison. Now, the prison is run by this muppet called Matt Spencer. Now, Matt Spencer, I know previously in years gone by, he was handed a file of internal emails between prison officers, right? Sort of slagging prisoners off, talking about corruption, talking about drugs, smuggling, just prisoners who were sleeping with prison officers, and prison officers that are married that are cheating with other prison officers within the prison. So they're cheating on their wife or their girlfriend or their husband with other prison officers within the jail. And a file was passed to Matt Spencer, who's the director. Director is a private word. What private prisons use for governor is just a governor. He couldn't govern fuck all. Right? He's clueless. And this file was passed to him. He said, "I'll deal with this." The woman knew he wouldn't. This was a former member of staff. Knew he wouldn't. She made copies, which were already outside of the jail. She handed them to him. Nothing happened. They disappeared. Surprise, surprise. All Matt Spencer's interested in is he wants to emigrate. When he retires, he wants to emigrate to Italy with a nice little, nice house overlooking some nice little lake over in Italy, right? Meanwhile, his prison's rife with corruption, sexual assaults, indecent images of children being flustered down the wing, corruption. Staff can't keep their hands in their pockets. The thieving, but you've got prison officers thieving from inside the prison. Now, people might think, where are they getting 250 grams worth of stuff from? It's a prison. Now, last year, 3 prison officers, I think 2 of them were arrested, 1 wasn't, or 3 was. Anyway, Carl Byram, Anthony Bradbury even, and another prison officer, were arrested for allegedly, well, not allegedly, they did it, 100 grand worth of stuff they stole from inside the prison, sold it on eBay, made a load of money. Carl Byron just last week had his proceeds of crime order heard. I think he was ordered to pay 47,000. He put his money in ISA accounts. He bought a van. He bought wrestling figures, which is just fucking pathetic. But they seized all them. They seized money in these ISA accounts. And I think he's going to pay 6 or 7 grand. Otherwise, he'll get a few extra months in prison. I've got no problem with the officers being corrupt. It goes on. These people are paid peanuts, to be honest with you, for the most part. But it's the prison that I'm going after. And if these people have to come to light for that to happen, then fair enough. So that was that. So within the prison, right, there's different jobs. You've got orderlies, you've got wing cleaners, you've got gym orderlies, you've got people working in the kitchens and stuff like that, in education and all these sorts of things. But there's workshops. Now, within these workshops, right, different things, right? Now, one of the things is these prisons, they outsource prisoners to external companies, but the prisoners stay within the prison. So if you can imagine a company like Amazon, right? Amazon do all these things and they send stuff out. Well, these big like potato sack sort of mail sack sort of size things are coming into the prison. They're being sorted by prisoners. Prisoners are getting paid probably 18 pound a week. Employment law dictates that the prison are probably getting minimum wage per man per hour, per prisoner with it in the workshop, right? So they're getting fat and rich off prisoners. Prisoners are getting tuppence halfpenny, and it's not even the prisoners that are robbing, it's prison officers. Now, that's what they do. Prisoners sort this stuff out. These prison officers are obviously in charge. They're entrusted, and they abuse that trust, and then they steal stuff, and then they sold it. Now, 4 officers have been arrested and charged. Another couple of officers have been arrested. So I expect them to be dealt with as well. Now, these prison officers should be thrown in jail. If they are found guilty of the charges, they should be thrown in the same prisons where they used to look after prisoners. Now, like I say, there's a lot of decent officers out there at Forest Bank. There's a lot of corrupt officers, a lot of Downsworth officers, but there's an influx of these young prison officers that are 18, 19, 20-year-old, wet behind the ear, no life experience, and Sodexo will just take on anybody. And this is what's happening, guys. These people are getting jobs, they've got no life experience, they're going on the landings, they're swapping the personality for a set of keys and some epaulets. They walk around thinking they're bad because they're prison officers. The women, the young girls are flirting and swapping numbers and having sexual relationships with inmates. The prison officers are taking steroids, sniffing cocaine. They're going out on the weekends. I know what's going on within that jail. Trust me when I tell you. My sources in that prison are top drawer across the spectrum, right? But yeah, so these prison officers have been arrested. It doesn't surprise me. The prison's badly run from the top. Corruption is absolutely everywhere, and it's going to continue to happen. It really, really is. And like I say, people do it. People are corrupt for many different reasons. Now, like I said, people might want to top up the wages. And working in close proximity with prisoners, they're having that mindset of criminals, and they're thinking, we can make some dough out of this. So they're doing what they're going to do. But like I said, the fact is that prison will take on absolutely anybody. I think it's only a matter of time before somebody goes undercover and gets a job and goes undercover within that prison. I'd apply, but they know my face, so I won't even get through the door. But yeah, just corruption, guys. So they're in court this coming week at Manchester and Salford Magistrates Court. Probably be sent to Crown because of the amounts involved. And I'll keep everybody updated. Gonna leave it there, guys. Sorry I waffled on. Link is in the description below, like you always do. The next story reference Forest Bank is not far away. It never is. We'll leave it there, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Cody out.